Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Survival 101, and today we are going to be doing some villager wrangling. This is actually the second time I've had to film this intro, because as I was transferring some of the video files, I lost power and they got corrupted, so there's going to be a little bit of a scatter to this one, but we're going to try and hit everything that we can. We're on our way to the villager breeders, you can see, and I'm gonna show you how I've been getting my villagers to the trading hall / iron farm, and then we're going to I'll talk about some of the villagers that I've got and some of the other ways that you can use to move villagers around. So we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, so I'm back here with the villager breeder that I built, and fortunately part of the video that I lost was me showing you guys how to build this, but it's pretty standard. You've got your adult containment cell when the baby villagers grow up right here, and over here we've got Mama Mary and Papa John, but you can throw them food. Either I do potatoes or carrots. Bread will work as well, or any of the cooked meats, but potatoes and carrots are your cheapest and they work just fine. I would throw them a whole stack at a time, and you can see if he picks them up, because you see his little head bob there, and then he'll start sharing with his buddy over there. Good. And he's throwing some over there, and once they both have some food, they should start breeding again. See the hearts, but yep, see now, and they're standing on glass panes. Actually, you can't see them, but once the baby comes out, the baby's gonna fall down here through two water sources. There's one here and then another one right here, but he sits down here just fine because he's less than a block tall. But as soon as he grows up, his head's gonna stick up into this, he's gonna float, and then that's just a single water source on top, and it's gonna push him over here once he grows up, and he'll just sit here until we're ready to take him minecart. And how we do that is we just throw a minecart right there, and this will just bounce back and forth till we get an adult villager in here, and it'll knock into the side there, and then it'll take him, and the cart will get enough momentum, it'll go up and over, and it'll follow our track all the way back to our iron farm / trading hall, which is over there. Right there you can see the railway that I've built. Here's my house, and I was able to do rails because I got the villager hall stocked with 10 villagers, and I had the beds in. And once you have 10 villagers and 20 beds in a village, iron golems will start spawning, and we'll cover that a little bit later once we get over there. So before I had this rail system, I was using boats to take the villagers over there. I'd use this same system right here, except when the villager got in here, the minecart would just shoot off and land over here. I'd throw a boat down and break the minecart, and then just push the villager into the boat, and then I would attach a lead to the boats with the villagers in them, and I would have to boat them all the way around and over to the iron farm, where I could then put them in another minecart on a rail system and get them in their pods. But once you have the iron farm going at this, using rails and minecarts is so much easier than boats. You can pop them directly into the cart or into their pods, and you don't have to worry about them running amok. So that's that. I'm gonna let these guys grow up, and then I'll come back and I'll show you my little process for taking them over there. All right. Okay, so it looks like we've got a couple that have grown up, and there's a third one. You see how he's getting pushed in, and then they just hang there. So we're ready to take them out, which we'll go ahead and do that. See, so I'll just take this, pop it right there. He gets in it when that minecart hits the corner here, and just off he goes back to our iron farm. Like we can get one more or two more. We'll go ahead and just let those guys go, and we'll just stand here and wait. Another one. Off he goes. And actually, we'll go ahead and go. We'll ride back, and I'll cut back to get there. Okay, so we're here in the trading hall villager farm, trading hall iron farm, and as you can see, the railroad tracks, they just come all the way from over there. Rails, they come into here. I've just blocked this off for now so they can't go back out. Nothing can get in. But the way I do it, you can just feed tracks right into the pod that you need to put them into. They're surrounded, and there's a bottom half slab above them, and then a trap door so that when you knock this minecart out, they can't get out. And then they're ready to be given a profession. So what I do is I'll just guy in. Go on to the next one. And another thing I wanted to talk about, I have my villager breeders separate. What you can do is if you get two villagers, if you just bring them in here and just wall them off and put the beds up here like I have, I'll talk about the design of this here in a minute. Then you can just breed them in here and just let them roam until you get all 44 villagers, and then you can just place them directly into their new homes, their prison cells, homes, where they're gonna stay forever, be attacked by zombies. So yeah, and as you can see, I've already got quite a few of these filled up. I kind of went for what I thought would be the most important. I started with Fletchers so that I could sell sticks to, for emeralds. I got those guys. Basically just a quick, easy way to get some emeralds, and then the crossbows and some enchanted bows. The next one that I got was, and I got five Fletchers. Then I got 5 farmers, and I do have the add-on that lets me see the trades that they'll have, because on Bedrock Edition, or normal Minecraft, not Java, the trades of a villager are determined when they connect to a block. Not each time they level up like on Java, but when they connect to a block, you get all of them. That's already predetermined, and so I got all ones that sell golden carrots, so that and potatoes, they buy potatoes or carrots and then sell golden carrots at their maxed out level, so that we can get those golden carrots for the OP food of Minecraft. And then next, I've got toolsmiths. I've got 5 of them. I've got 5 armorers, 5 weaponsmiths, and that's so that I can take iron from the farm grab some, and then I can come over here to all these guys, and I can sell all of my iron, and that automatically turns this iron farm and trading hall also into an emerald farm. It's not as good as a raid farm, but you know, we're not there yet. This helps a ton, and I think from selling all of these I can get 12 times, let's see, 5, 15, 12 times 15, I can get over almost 3 stacks of emeralds, roughly about 2.5, I think, just from trading with just my guys that buy iron, and that helps a ton in getting books. And it'll get even better once we get get zombies back here, so that we can cure these guys. And as you can see, we had a mishap with 3 of our villagers already. I'm not sure how they got converted. What happened? I don't know if they got attacked by a baby zombie or something. When I was AFKing here once, get all this iron. See, we've got, and I've taken a bunch out, but this chest, that chest, and this chest were all full at one point. But that's what I suggest doing, especially getting some of these guys so that you can sell the iron. Especially a trading hall of this size or an iron farm of this size, you'll be really hard pressed to use all this iron, especially if you're just in a single player world, unless you're building some super ridiculous storage system, which we will eventually, but we're a ways out from that. And then I've also got my villagers, or not my villagers, my librarians. And I tried to target just the most important ones to get us started, so that's like efficiency 5, unbreaking, mending, fortune 3, so that we can go mining and get many more ores, diamonds, and whatnot. Which reminds me something about those guys. Looting 3 for our sword, silk touch, got protection 4. We gotta convert this guy back so that we can use him. And then I'm gonna take the rest of these, I think there's 7 left, and we're gonna try to get the rest of the enchantments to max out our gear. Right now we've already got mending on everything and unbreaking on most stuff, and then fire protection. Got enchantments on all these things. They're not perfect yet, but they're a lot better than what they were. But speaking of fortune 3 and diamonds, what I really like about these guys too is that once you get them maxed out, they sell diamond gear. So these guys sell diamond tools. These guys, they sell diamond armor. Got some that sell boots and helmets, chest and legs. You know, and they come enchanted, but I don't care about that since we've got our librarians. And these guys sell diamond weapons, your axe and your sword. So if we were to die in lava, or die and our stuff gets blown up or despawns or whatever, instead of having to go mine diamonds to make more gear, we can just come here and we can just buy it. Then we can use a grindstone, disenchant it, buy enchanted books and re-enchant it, and we're back to where we were. So much easier than grinding for diamonds. I highly suggest having at least 5 of each of these guys in your trading hall, so that you don't have to worry about that. And it makes it so much easier to get back into the swing of things if you do find yourself having perished something. So let's talk about the iron farm a little bit. The inside of it, and this platform up here, is 17 blocks this way, and it's 17 blocks deep. And that's because the maximum distance that an iron golem will spawn from the center point of a village is 8 blocks in either direction. So where that hopper is, that's the center point of our village. That's the center of this entire building. So iron golems will spawn anywhere on this upper platform right here. Down there. They'll spawn anywhere in there. And then they get pushed in by the water into the lava blade. They die. And then their drops, iron ingots, and poppies go to the hopper and they flow into those chests down below. And this top bit is covered by iron slabs, or not iron slabs, but bottom slabs to prevent spawns from up there. And then eventually this will all be built up and we'll cover this up. But we don't have to worry about them spawning down below where our villagers are, because from the center point of the village, which is typically a bed, and it's, as you can see, it's going to be one of these ones on the inner ring here. Turn down my game sounds. Okay, got those turned down. So from this center point, I don't know which bed it is, but it's typically the first one that you place down when a villager links to it. You know, it links to it by the green particles over the bed and the villager, but 6 blocks up and 6 blocks down, or 5 blocks down from that bed, typically the pillow, iron golems can spawn, and 8 blocks out in any direction horizontally. But the iron golem will spawn on the highest possible block available. So that's why they don't spawn down here. They spawn up there because those are the first blocks available, and so we don't have to worry about them spawning in here. Now that also means that if we wanted to have this down below, we could do that, and we would just have to have some kind of block here, specifically so that something that the iron golems could spawn on, like a bottom slab or leaves, or glass, maybe. I know bottom slabs and leaves will work, but we don't need to worry about that. We got it set up here, and this works great. This is pretty common setup. Lots of people have tutorials on how to do this. This has kind of become the standard one now. They changed how the iron golems spawn last year, a couple years ago, so that's really cool. I'm going to get the rest of these villagers filled in and get us the rest of the enchantments that we need, and then I'll come back to you guys and talk about what enchantments I think are most important for you, and then, you know, for each weapons and how to get set up with that. So I'll be back probably in a couple of hours. And so I forgot to mention that with this add-on, because I can see what trades I'm getting. See, like here, he's got a pillar quartz block. We don't want that. We want just the regular quartz block. And so to reset him essentially, or to re-roll him, we can break his block or his workstation, and then we place it down again, and he'll reconnect to it till he gets the trade that we want. He's got it, and now we keep him. So, and we'll do that with all these, with this guy too, because he's selling the pillar quartz block. And this goes for any villager profession, any of them. So you can get the trades that you want, and they have different levels. Like they'll sell stuff at different levels. So sometimes, like this, you know, you can sell it for 1 emerald, or you know, it might be 6 or 8. You know, it just kind of depends Yeah, you can do that with any of the villagers, and that's how I got all of these guys, was by basically placing down the workstation, letting them link to it, and then seeing what their trades were. And then if I didn't like it, break it and just redo it. That's how I got the librarians. Those are the most painful ones because you have to get specific books, and they've got 4 different slots that they can sell books in. They can sell here, 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 and they can sell the same book in every single. I want to aim for it being here because that'll be the cheapest. That can take a long time to do. As you can see, I have all of our villagers set out. Everybody's got a profession, but first let's talk about all of my villagers that I've got, right? So I'm pretty sure I've already talked about how these guys basically turned my iron farm into an emerald farm, and they'll do that for you too. And then Fletchers, they're good for sticks. You can sell sticks to them to get cheap emeralds. And then they'll also sell enchanted crossbows and tipped or enchanted arrows. And then farmers, we got them so that we can buy golden carrots. Once we get these guys all leveled up, we'll have the best food source in the game available to us. But the ones that we're really here for are these guys, the librarians. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 17 librarians right now. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. Yep, 17 librarians. And I chose the ones that I thought would be the best, get us the closest to max enchanted gear as possible in this little starter trading hall that we've got going here. And so to start off, we'll just go from here from left to right because they're not in any order right now. We might switch them up eventually, get them in alphabetical or something like that, or type of enchantment. So this first guy, he's a zombie right now, but he sells protection 4, which basically just reduces any kind of incoming damage that you get. Just in general, blast, projectile, from the wither, or skeleton shooting arrows, or melee physical damage from like a zombie or something. This can go on your helmet, in any piece of your armor that you have, except for a shield. Okay, and then Unbreaking 3, we've got this guy. Basically, that makes your tools last a lot longer, or your equipment. This can go on anything. Any piece, any tool, any armor. It can even go on shears, and it can also go on a fishing rod. And I think that's it for utility stuff. Let me see if I have. It can go on a bow. Yeah, and everything here, as you can see, everything here has Unbreaking 3 on it pretty much right now. There's a couple that I got to add it to, but we got the Efficiency 5. That lets you break blocks a lot faster, whether it be on an axe, a pickaxe, a shovel, or I think a hoe, or a shear. Because shears you can use to get leaves. But basically, if I'm standing here, that breaks that block almost instantly. If I didn't have Efficiency 5 on it, you'd swing your axe a couple of times and then it would break. Then we got Mending. That lets us gain experience to restore our tools. As you can see, all these pieces, they don't have the little green bar underneath it. That means that they're at full health. These ones that have a green bar, they've taken a little bit of durability damage, meaning I've used them basically. And so when we gain XP, instead of it going to our XP bar down there at the bottom, you can see I've got 53 levels right now in a little bit. It'll go back to the tool to filling it up, and we'll still get some to our XP bar. A lot of it will go to the tool to restore it, to make sure that it stays topped off, and then your tool doesn't break. It can still break if you're not careful. There is actually an add-on that I forgot to load into this world that shows you exactly how much durability is left. I've got to add that at some point, but you just stay away from this bottom end here and you'll be okay. Then we've got Fortune 3. That can go on, I believe that can go on any of these tools. And basically for like your pickaxe when you're mining ores, what that does is instead of getting, say, 1 iron ore when you mine it, you'll get 3 to 4. I think on average, I think it's 2.5 or so, about there. And then, you know, lapis, copper, any of those things that Fortune will work on. And then we've got Infinity, which goes on your bow, and this is a point of contention amongst Minecrafters. Infinity or mending on your bow, because you can only have one. Infinity lets you use an infinite number of arrows, meaning I only need 1 arrow and I can just shoot it over and over again. So I like to use Infinity, although it doesn't work with those enchanted tipped arrows, so it just kind of depends. I'll typically have both an Infinity and a mending bow. And then we've got Fire Protection. That does the same thing as Protection 4, except it's kind of it's exclusive to fire damage. So if you have Fire Protection, which I'm going to add, I've got on my diamond, on my helmet and my boots. Basically, that means when I, like, say I'd fall into lava, it's going to take a little bit longer for me to start taking fire damage from fire, having that on there. Then we've got Silk Touch. And what that does is, say it's on a pickaxe, or you can have it on an axe or a shovel. This is great for getting blocks like grass, or if you want, say, stone and you don't want to have to cook cobblestone in a furnace, you can put Silk Touch on your pickaxe and go mining and gather stone up, and when you break that stone block, instead of it turning into cobblestone, it'll stay as stone, which is really nice. And then you can put it on an axe and you can get leaves. You can put it on a hoe, I believe, and still get leaves with that, except you gather them quickly. If you put it on a shovel, instead of when you break a grass block out here, say like if I were to break one of these, instead of it dropping as dirt, it's going to drop as a grass block. And you can do the same with Podzol for that. And then we've got Aqua Affinity here, which lets you mine faster underwater. It gives you the same mining speed as outside of water, so that's really nice. That goes on your helmet. We've got Looting 3. Basically, you put that on a sword, and that will let you, when you kill a mob, it'll increase your chances of mob drops and the number of drops that you receive. So that's cool. We like Looting 3. Impaling 5 is also really nice. That goes on a trident, which you can get from drowned mobs that spawn. Those spawn in the water. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but this goes on a trident, and this is really useful. Kind of exclusively used in trident killers, which I'll go over those when we get back to those spider spawners that we found last episode, and we'll build ourselves a couple of, at least one, maybe 2 trident killers to take care of those spiders, and I'll show you I'll explain how that works then. And then we've got Luck of the Sea 3. Not really that important. That goes on a fishing rod. We didn't go that route this season with to get early game gear, but the important one here is FF4, and what that stands for is Feather Falling 4. Basically, what this does is it increases the height that you can fall from before you take damage. So normally, I believe if you fall from, like, I think it's a height of like 2 or 3 blocks, you'll take some damage. Maybe it's 4. So you see there, as I fell off there, I lost half a heart on my bar there, on my health bar. If I had Feather Falling 4 on, I wouldn't take any damage. I think Feather Falling 4, I think you might be able to fall up to like probably 10 blocks, I think, before you can really start taking damage. I think you can fall from like 20 or 30 blocks, and that might be when you would die. I'm not for sure, but we'll have to test that out. I'll look it up. But basically, this is a must-have, especially if you're out running around in the wild and you find yourself and you fall down a big old hole. That could save your life, quite literally. So the next one that we've got is Depth Strider 3. And what this does is, I believe this goes on your legs, on your trousers, and it increases your move speed in water. Basically, I think Depth Strider 3 makes you move as fast in water as you do outside of the water. So that's really good to have. And then we've got Riptide 3, another one that goes on a trident. This allows you to fly through the air. With the trident, you'll go through the action of throwing it. If you're on PC with that's the right click button. If you're using the same setup as me, or on Switch or console, that'd be something like the right trigger button. But it'll allow you to fly through the air. You have to use it from water, so either like a pond or a river out there, you'll stand in the water and you'll look up and you'll right click and you'll go flying up. The cool thing about Riptide 3 is if it's raining, you can be standing on dry land, wet land, and point up into the air and slingshot yourself into the air, and you'll take off. I wouldn't suggest using that too much without an elytra, because if I recall, there's currently a bug right now that as you continuously use Riptide, you just gain fall damage. The game thinks that you're falling, and so when you land, no matter how softly you land, unless you land in water or land with an elytra, you're gonna die. Especially if you use it for quite a while, pulling around and whatnot. So now we've got Respiration 3. That's supposed to say respiration. I've got a misspelling there. I'll fix that. And I don't have my axe on me, it's over there. So what Respiration 3 does is this goes on your helmet, and it allows you to breathe longer underwater. So let me run over here real quick and then we'll jump back. But when you go underwater, if you look down by my food bar, you see those air bubbles. See how they're going down? If I have a helmet on with Respiration 3, basically those bubbles go down more slowly. I can last longer, I can hold my breath for longer underwater. That's what that does. That's really helpful, especially if you're swimming through underwater caves, looking for stuff, that kind of jazz. So now we come to Fire Aspect 2. This is an enchantment that goes on your sword, and what it does is it basically turns your regular sword into a fire sword. So when you hit mobs, they're going to take some fire damage. If you kill, say, cows, sheep, chickens, pigs with a sword that has fire aspect on it, instead of dropping raw meat, it's going to cook the meat for you, so you don't have to waste fuel cooking that meat in a furnace. So that's really nice. And then there's Fire Aspect 1 and 2. Fire Aspect 2 just does more damage to hostile mobs, or just to mobs in general, rather. That's nice. And then we've got Sharpness 5 for our last villager that we have, our last librarian villager that we have right now. And Sharpness 5 can go on your sword or your axe. And basically what that does is that just increases damage in general to all mobs. There's also a Smite 5, which increases damage to undead mobs. So that'd be zombies, skeletons, the wither and wither skeletons, those 4. And then we've got Bane of Arthropods, which does the same thing as Sharpness and Smite, except it applies only to spiders. That's what an arthropod is. So that's going to be your regular spiders, the big black ones, and then your cave spiders, the little green ones that are a menace to every Minecraft player around the world. I don't have anything against cave spiders, I promise. So that's our librarian setup for now. Now that I've got all that covered, I'm gonna talk a little bit about. So these are basically enchantments that I think are must-haves. Most of them will get us pretty close to having. I think this will get us maxed out gear. What I've got us here. These are the most important. And so I've kind of got them ironed out here. The only one that I think I'm missing Flame and Punch from my bow. Flame is just like Fire Aspect, except it's for a bow. It turns your arrow, it gives you fire arrows basically when you fire them, and then Punch 2 knocks back mobs when you hit them with it. It knocks them back a couple of blocks. So yeah, so actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna disenchant all of my gear, and then I'm gonna buy all these books again, and I'm gonna show you the best way to combine everything to get all your gear enchanted up using the least amount of levels possible. I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm gonna get all the books again, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so to disenchant gear, if you accidentally put the wrong enchantment on, or you find out that it's too expensive, what you need to do is you need to get yourself a grindstone like this, which I believe you can make using. You need 2 planks, a stone slab, and some sticks to make a grindstone. Pretty simple. You can get that on day 1. Come over here, and you take your item that you want to disenchant, and you put it in here, and you put it in this slot, and then you take it out here, and now it's not enchanted anymore. And you do get some of the XP back for enchanting. You get some of that back. You don't get it all back, but you get a good chunk. So we've got everything disenchanted now. Now I'm gonna start laying out everything that we need. Oh, I forgot one. Everything that we need book-wise to get us maxed out enchantments. Some people are gonna call me crazy for doing this, but I gotta sacrifice. So I'm gonna finish getting the books ready, and then I'll come back and I'll talk about them. All right, so I think we're all ironed out and set to go. As you can see here, I've got my gear up at the top, my bow. Then I have all these books lined underneath them for what I want to put on them. So a couple of these can have quite a bit. There is one book that I'm not even considering and putting on my armor, and that's Thorns. That's because if I'm moving mobs around, hostile mobs, and they attack me, they'll take damage from the Thorns enchantment, and I don't want that. I've had too many mobs die en route to where I needed to take them to really use that, and I just don't think it's necessary. But we'll start with the easiest ones, our diamond chest plate and diamond leggings. So we're gonna take those out, and we'll take these out. And so to enchant them, and I've got protection 4, but I've got to cure this guy, which we'll have to do soon once we get to the nether. Probably we'll do that next episode. But you need to use an anvil. So you can take your chest plate or your item that you want to enchant, you put it in the first slot, and then you take the book that you want to put on it and you put it in the second slot. And as you can see, it's going to cost me 2 levels to enchant this diamond chest plate, or I'll do 3 that way if I put Unbreaking on. So there is one interesting thing. So the cost of enchanting or repairing an item in an anvil, part of that equation that the game takes into account to determine what that level cost is going to be is how many times has that item been through the anvil. The more times it's been through an anvil, the more expensive it's going to get. That's why sometimes if you're putting enchantments on your boots, which I think can have 7 enchantments, if you don't do that in the right manner, you won't be able to get all enchantments on your boots. So what I like to do is I'll take books and I'll combine them like this. We'll see why is that costing 3 now? Oh well, we just did it. So now I put that together. Now I'll take this and put that together, and I think I'm gonna save 1 level. For your chest plate and your leggings, you really don't need to do this because there's only 3 enchantments that you're gonna put on these anyways, and so actually I don't save any levels doing it this way. It costs the same no matter what, but for say like your helmet and your boots and even your sword, like all these ones that have full up, and this isn't even everything that I can put on these, at least not on the boots. I think there's one more that I can put on the boots easily, and that's Soul Speed 3. And actually, I think that is the last one. Yeah. But we want to combine these in a way so that we get the lowest cost when we put them through the anvil. And so we're just going to try to see if we can't figure this out. We'll do our helmet next. And we're definitely going to have to trade more with our villagers to get more levels. We definitely don't have enough. So first one that you always want to do is mending and probably unbreaking. Put those 2 together, and then I think we'll try respiration aquafini. Okay, so that's 2. So that's going to be pretty low. And then I think we can just combine them. Let me see, what does it cost to do this? That costs 10. That costs 5. 9. That costs 5. Okay, versus if we do this. Okay, so that's 4. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll just... Ooh, yeah, see, so that was a lot. That cost us like 30 levels. That's about right. A little bit more than 30, I think, actually. Yeah, so see, we're already down to 15 levels, and we started at 50. So enchanting takes up a lot of your levels. It's an expensive ordeal for sure. Combine those 2, and then we'll put... See, that's 14, and that's going to be too much. So we have 1. We can finish enchanting our axe back up. We've got that ready to go. And looks like I'm just gonna iron this back out. I'll come back to you when I have a few more levels, and we'll talk about how to combine the boots. We'll talk about how to combine the rest of this to get the most efficient use out of our levels. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to combine your boots together in the most effective way. So first that's going to be, we're going to do our boots and Depth Strider. Okay, so that's going to cost us 6 levels. I think this is going to be like a total of like 27. So then we want to take fire protection and protection and unbreaking, and combine those two books. So we're going to do this. That's going to be 3. Then we're going to take feather falling and mending and combine those. And our anvil's going to break. We're going to a few of these. We're just going to stack that right there. And then we're going to take our boots. We're going to combine that for 9. So I think that puts us up at 15. And then we're going to take this, put that there, and that's 10. So that's 25 levels. Alright, so it looks like got to get some more levels. Be right back. Alright, so I've got a few more levels. I think we'll be able to get these, maybe the rest of our tools enchanted back up again. Pickaxes and shovels, you don't really need to worry. You don't need to worry about combining books because there's only 4 enchantments really that you're going to put on them. So there's no risk of going overboard and having them be too expensive. And so there's no benefit to doing that. I can drop my shovel down there. So come over here. We'll do our first pickaxe and we'll do mending. We're still gonna be a little expensive for the last one, it looks like. But this is the part of enchanting. You just kind of got to keep hacking away at it until you've got it all. Boots are really the most difficult one, I think, to do right, because you can do them in the wrong order. And then if you want to add soul speed and thorns, it's super important to get that done in the right order. The way I showed you earlier, I don't use thorns like I mentioned earlier, but still have to combine them, otherwise that algorithm or calculation the game does to determine how expensive it is will be too great. And we'll still have to add soul speed to our boots once we get some piglins to barter with, and that'll wind up being pretty expensive, I imagine. Probably upwards of 20 to 30 levels just for one enchantment. So alright, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and we get our boots done? We did. We still gotta do the sword though, which I guess I didn't explain this. An efficient way to combine your sword, and I kind of had this set up earlier in the video where I had the item up here and I had all the enchantments down below. But like your sword, you want to do your sword plus looting, and then you want to do that plus sharpness 5 and unbreaking, and then mending and fire aspect. That's a very cost-effective way of getting all your enchantments done. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out. Alright, so looks like I'm ready to hopefully get our sword enchanted. I'm gonna start off with, we're gonna add looting to our sword for 6. Then we're gonna combine sharpness and unbreaking, then fire aspect and mending. And we're up to 11 now. We're gonna add this for 10, so that's 21. And then we're gonna need another 10 for a total of 31 levels. Okay. We need to do a little bit more trading. Let's see if we can get up there now. We've got book. Buy one. Buy a quick charge. There we go. Now we'll get up there, and then we'll just buy a bunch of glass. Oh, out now. Okay, we'll buy. To the stone cutters, and we'll buy. There we go. All right, now we are winning. Okay, everybody. Well, I think that's gonna just about wrap up the episode today. This is a little bit longer episode, I think, but we got all of our villagers in here. Our iron farm is working. We've got lots of iron now. I AFK'd here a little bit during the course of producing this episode, but we've got lots of iron, lots of poppies, for sure. We can make all the red stuff. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you learned something. And if you did, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like and maybe even subscribing so that you can get notified of future content. Hopefully here soon I'll be able to start streaming once I get that setup all figured out. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or you know, maybe my first stream. Again, thanks for watching and enjoy.